Hello and welcome to my channel. Here I review new movies and television shows and release a new video every day from Monday to Friday. Today, I want to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It's a superhero action comedy that comes from the mind of writer and director James Gunn. The film picks up where the Christmas special left off, with the Guardians and their friends living in their new home, Nowhere. Star-Lord is still suffering from his breakup with Gamora, Drax and Mantis are still fighting, Groot is a good son now, and Rocket and Nebula have resigned themselves to being the responsible parents of these trifling children. Things look great for them until a golden man comes crashing into their home and starts a fight. The superpowered assassin takes on all 6 of the Guardians at once, and they just barely manage to fend him off. During the attack, Rocket is severely injured and the Guardians find themselves going on a quest in order to save him. The film sees the return of all of the fan-favorite characters from the past films: Star-Lord, Mantis, Drax, Rocket, Groot, Gamora, Nebula, Cosmo, and Kraglin. It also sees guest appearances from the Ravager leadership, the head of the Sovereign, and new villains, the High Evolutionary and Adam Warlock. The story is a mix between action, comedy, and drama. It uses Rocket's origin story as an underlying emotional core to connect the audience to the new villain, the High Evolutionary, and uses the journey to save Rocket as the main storyline. There's a lot of character work that sees Rocket, Star-Lord, Mantis, Nebula, and Gamora all make huge strides in terms of personal growth, and Kraglin finally learns how to use that damn arrow. The general tone of the main story is a lighthearted comedy with a few small action moments here and there that are visually appealing but don't have a lot of impact. The balance between the action and the comedy is heavily skewed in favor of the comedy. The jokes come fast and often, appearing every 30 seconds or so throughout. Every character is funny in their own way, and each of them gets at least 10 different jokes. The problem is that it often kills whatever momentum the scene had going. They'll be in the middle of an action sequence where everybody is about to die, and suddenly they stop to do a joke scene. The jokes are almost always funny, but their endless nature makes it impossible to feel a sense of danger. Like all Marvel products, the story exists in a permanent state of both not making any sense in the grander context, but doing okay in the narrow scope it presents itself in. In a cinematic universe with gods, wishes, and tech geniuses who can solve any problem, the story falls apart almost instantly. There are a ton of solutions to their problem that don't involve picking a fight with a highly advanced enemy, and they ignore every single one of them. Despite being kind of silly, the film is highly exciting. There are lots of new locations, a couple of new planets, and a new villain and his empire. The parts with Rocket's origin story are somewhat horrifying and touching at the same time, and do a great job of igniting a burning hatred for the villain. The parts with the Guardians are fun and lively, and they do a lot in the 2.5-hour runtime. The cast does an incredible job of the comedy and the heart. They all did so well that it's hard to pick standouts. Karen Gillan, Pom Klementieff, Dave Bautista, Sean Gunn, and Maria Bakalova do a great job of the lighthearted comedy side of the film. Their characters goof around a lot, and each of them does well with the timing and delivery. Bradley Cooper, Chris Pratt, and Chukwudi Iwuji act as the more down-to-earth emotional rocks of the film. And boy oh boy is this film a bit of a tear-jerker. Chris Pratt's Star-Lord is still reeling from Gamora's death, revival, and breakup. Throughout the film, he appears as a guy struggling to pull himself together and haunted by the deaths of his loved ones. Pratt displays a desperate struggle to save his friend while somehow turning into the straight man of the film. He does great at it. Bradley Cooper's Rocket does more reacting than proactive work, but his story is so heartbreaking that it was hard to sit through it all. Cooper voices the emotions in a raw and deeply connected way that hits right in the gut. Chukwudi Iwuji plays the High Evolutionary, an indescribably infuriating man that seeks perfection in everything around him. His ego is through the roof, and his cruel treatment of Rocket and the other animals in his labs makes him one of the most hateful villains in MCU history. Visually, the film is a lot of fun, and goes through a lot of creative space-based locations. It goes a little overboard with the CGI, but it's all so well done that it integrates with the physical locations and actors seamlessly. The journey is clear and concise. There are lots of good visual gags, and the action sequences we get are all extremely expensive looking sequences with great choreography, amazing visual effects, and lots of cool stunts. There aren't enough of them, and they don't last long enough for my liking, but they are all well done. The only one I had a problem with was the last fight between the Guardians and the High Evolutionary. It doesn't last long enough, and there isn't enough of a back and forth between them. The High Evolutionary, despite being more powerful than all of them, fails to put up any kind of resistance to their attacks and sinks faster than a sack of bricks. Sound-wise, the film makes effective use of background instrumentals to draw out and amplify the emotions of the scenery, and has a number of classic pop songs strewn throughout the film for people to enjoy. The background instrumentals tend to be generic sounds that could have been lifted from any other superhero film. They're always well-timed and well-chosen. The classic song appears anytime a character pulls out Star-Lord's Zune. It was kind of cool the first time it happened at the beginning of the film, but after that it felt forced. Classic songs were nice to listen to, but didn't match well with the scenery at all. Overall, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is a fun and emotional journey that sees the Guardians take on a new villain in order to save their friend. The cast does an impeccable job of their roles, the visual journey is a stunning romp through space, and the music does an effective job following the scenery. But the script could use a little editing. The villain was great at drawing your ire, but the film failed to give him a proper final battle with the Guardians. The joking atmosphere was also a little overboard and took a lot of the punch out of the rest of the film. It's still a good story, and I had a lot of fun in the theater. If you like the previous movies or enjoy lighthearted superhero films, then this one is great for several viewings. 7 out of 10. And remember, those are just my thoughts on the film. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Bye-bye!